Welcome to another episode of the 5,000 Role Models TV show. Today we'll take a deep dive into the partnership between Miami-Dade College and the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project, starting with Director of Recruitment Services at the Miami-Dade College North Campus, Mr. Willie Wood. We are grateful to be joined now by the Director of Recruitment Services at the Miami-Dade College North Campus, Mr. Willie Wood. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Bright. Pleasure to be here.
Mr. Wood, can you kind of talk about your role here at Miami-Dade College?
Yes, I work primarily with incoming students, first time in college, freshmen that are graduating high school. We also work with non-traditional students that may be coming back to college or going to college for the first time. So a lot of that involves talking about majors, their journey for college, what they can see themselves becoming in the professional workforce, and we try to guide them from point A to point Z.
I know one of the things that you helped to facilitate was the summer early college experience.
Yes.
With 5,000 role model students. What all did that entail?
Well, definitely the partnership with 5,000 Role Models has been great. To see those young men blossom and get an opportunity to see the college was great. That really entailed the opportunity for them to see what it's like in middle school and high school ages, what I would be like as a college student. Mm-hmm. You know, not many times you have that opportunity growing up. You hear about it, but you can't actually experience it. So we had a fun-filled week. Thank you all for coming and being with us, that we were able to partner together, where they were going to our academic departments, doing immersion activities, and also having some real hands-on technology experience in creating PowerPoints. So it was just a wonderful time for them, and I know it's an opportunity of a lifetime for future students to come.
Absolutely. One of the most impressive parts of that week was your ability to leverage the entire campus to put on a tremendous experience for students. What were some of the departments that were involved?
We had our biology department, our chemistry department, also our fire sciences, our InTech, which is giving them the opportunity for technology, SEDT, which is our School of Entertainment Design Technology as well. So they had an opportunity to see everything that they could potentially be here going to college. So it was really wonderful. Our faculty and staff and our coordinators, everyone working together to put this on for all those students.
Absolutely. What do you think the role of that kind of experience is as it pertains to when they eventually matriculating to higher education, being able to make an informed decision in terms of choosing their career or major?
Well, I think it follows along the same guidelines of the principles in 5,000 Role Models. It's planting the seed for positive experiences early on. We know that making choices is going to be hard growing up, but the more opportunities and more exposure we can give them early, students are going to be more likely to be successful and make those right decisions as they graduate high school.
Absolutely. One of the things that you collaborate with closely with 5,000 Role Models is in the area of dual enrollment. Mm-hmm. What does that process entail?
Right now, we work with middle school up to high school. So that process entails taking the PERT exam, applying for the opportunity, but because you're taking college credits at an early age. Mm-hmm. And when you think about that, you're doing it for free as well. You know, we're not talking about tuition, we're not talking about financial aid. This is a state opportunity and an institution opportunity to give this to these students. So for 5,000 Role Models to take advantage of dual enrollment, they're able to take up to 60 credits potentially and earn an associate's degree before they even step foot on a college campus as a full-time enrolled student.
You're a seasoned administrator, first at FIU and now at Miami-Dade College. What advice would you give to young men who may be listening in terms of the higher education preparation process?
I would tell them, keep your options open. There is not one major that will fit for you. There are several majors. There are several philosophies of study you can go into. Take your first year to really explore, take some electives that are going to open your eyes up to different things. I remember growing up, it was always a lawyer or a doctor. But as I started taking electives in music and theater, there's so many different things that I did not know about. So I would urge students to just explore every type of avenue. And then as you find your passion for it, you will major and find something that you really want.
What are some of the differences at Miami-Dade College between the 2-year programs, 4-year programs? Do 2 years here transfer to another institution? What are, for some students who are trying to exercise their options, what advice would you give them as it pertains to those areas?
Well, I would say the opportunity here at Miami-Dade College is, for one, affordability. you're able to attend college at a fraction of the cost and complete all of the same credits that are guaranteed to transfer to any state institution. That's the power of your Associate of Arts degree. Being able to transfer that into a bachelor's program and go anywhere into the state of Florida. Be able to have small class sizes, stay in the local community, because not a lot of students want to move away from home. Maybe they don't want the big university experience at first. So starting off at the local college in your area, which Miami-Dade College has 8 campuses, there's plenty of options for them to take classes. More specifically here at the North Campus, we have several different academics, as we talked about a little bit earlier, that they can go into, finish in 2 years, and also even combine that for an Associate of Science degree or other certificates that they may not have even thought about.
What are some opportunities at Miami-Dade College that students may not know about or may not be obvious to the initial look in at MDC? What may they be missing that students may not know about?
Well, the one thing I always try to talk about is the stackable credential. And that gives you the opportunity for basically 2 for 1, or to get the opportunity to have 2 degrees at the same time. Many students don't know that an Associate of Science is only missing a few electives that the Associate of Arts has. And if you combine them, working with your academic advisor, meeting with them regularly, you'll be able to get both of those degrees at once. So you might even start the workforce earlier, but still be pursuing your bachelor's later on. And now you've completed 2 degrees.
Wow. Wow. So what would you say differentiates the MDC option from some other higher education options in South Florida?
I would say the first thing is that looking at our partnerships, Miami-Dade College has tons of partnerships throughout the community that can connect them. One specifically, we have the new Tesla program. So students are getting opportunities to work on futuristic cars today, being able to learn and get credits for that as well. So there are a lot of different small niches that we have that other institutions may not be able to offer. And again, these are transferable skills, transferable credits that will be good for a lifetime.
Absolutely. Stackable credentials, costs, partnerships, just some of the things that make Miami-Dade College a tremendous option in higher education. And the 5,000 role models are tremendously grateful for the partnership with you, with the early college experience, with dual enrollment, with bringing students on campus. And we hope to continue this tremendous partnership. Miami-Dade College 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project. Any last words, Mr. Wood?
I just want to say thank you all for being so proactive in young men's lives. It was really important for me to see the students have a good time, but also be able to embrace the journey that they're on. I've had the opportunity to go to local chapter meetings, so thank you for that invitation on behalf of the North Campus, our president, and our dean of students. We definitely look forward to helping out more students in the future.
Mr. Willie Wood, Miami-Dade College, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll be joined by the site director of MDC K-8 Preparatory Academy, Ms. Shawana Joseph, and assistant site director, Mr. Adrilee Perrin.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
We're pleased to be joined now by the site director at MDC K-8 Preparatory Academy, Ms. Shawana Joseph, and the assistant site director, Mr. Adrilee Perrin. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So what initially brought you all to work with the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence project?
When my principal started working at MDC, the first thing that she wanted to do was bring 5,000 role models on board. She noticed that we had some young men that would help with the mentoring program there. So she immediately reached out to Ms. Wilson to get our school on board.
Wow, that really speaks to the value of the 5,000 role models to a school site. Mr. Perrin.
Well, I worked with 5,000 role models in other schools before. So when I got to our school, I definitely jumped right in, and I was able to kind of work with the program with Miss Joseph.
What are some ways that you all work collaboratively to help support the students in the chapter?
We actually sit and we meet before we meet with the boys, so that at least we have a plan for the year where we want speakers at least once a month to come out. Mr. Parent also came up with some ideas with the spotlight, which I'll let him discuss, but the fact that he had his own ideas, I had my own ideas, and we made them work amazingly together.
Great. She mentioned the spotlight. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, the spotlight is something that we do cooperatively for the students at the school who are in 5,000 role models. It just gives them the opportunity to feel like they're special at the school, that they're worth something. And we have a big wall at the school that we set up, and there's one child who gets to be on the spotlight per week. And there's 4 small questions that the kid will answer. And all the kids, as they pass through the hallway, they get to see and learn something about a role model that we have in our school.
That's wonderful. That is really wonderful. What are some of the trips and activities that young men have been able to experience as being a part of the role models at your school?
We have done the Miami Seaquarium. We have done Jungle Island as well. We've done the trips to the jail. I've taken one tour, which was very enlightening for the young men to watch them in a different atmosphere, because some of them, they think that they are exempt from seeing certain things. So once they see young men their age or a little bit older than them in a situation, it makes them think. So our talks after the jail tour were the most interesting of all.
I know one of the other experiences happened actually at Miami-Dade College. In the early college experience, several of your students participated. What was some of the feedback that you got from the students?
Well, some of my young men have never been inside a college campus, so they have driven by Miami-Dade, but for them to come inside was a different level. So it gives them hope that they can attend Miami-Dade College. And then I have a student that the only school that he ever wanted to come to is Miami-Dade College. So the fact that now he had to come inside and he had the chance to see Miami-Dade, he really wants to attend.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's wonderful. I was super excited after he told me.
How important is it to have the support of your principal, Ms. Deborah Johnson-Brunson?
I think it's really important that the principal puts some importance behind 5,000 role models. It helps a lot. The programs that we would like to push through, they're easy to push through because she sees the importance in them, and the kids know that it actually means something to the school.
The K-8 level, what are some of the challenges and opportunities dealing with students in that particular age range?
Well, the students are finding themselves. That's the safest way to say it. They're trying to find out who they are, who they want to be, who they're not necessarily sure if they want to be or not. So they're experimenting. So what we're trying to do is keep them level-headed, staying with their values, staying with their beliefs, and understanding that just because someone else is doing something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it as well.
Are you seeing some peer-to-peer mentorship in such a broad age range, kindergarten through 8th grade? Have you seen some of that in your school?
Definitely. We have one kid that I just realized has an issue reading. And one of the beautiful things behind that is I was able to speak to a couple of his peers in the 5,000 role models, and in a way that didn't embarrass him, I shared with the other role models that he had some issues reading. And I was really surprised to see that they kind of jumped to it and started to offer some book titles that that student might read. And it was an environment where I thought the student who had issues reading would be very uncomfortable, but he seemed very comfortable to speak to his friends about it, and they just kind of took it on from there, and I stepped back and just allowed them to do their thing.
Absolutely. The importance of positive peer pressure that takes place within the brotherhood of the 5,000 role models. What are some other examples of some student development that you've seen take place?
Well, when I decide on the president every year, they really push toward who they would want to be as a president, but they also are very open-minded when I pick someone, because it's not always the smartest kid or it's not always the best behaved child, but it's always someone that I see something in. So sometimes you have to go above just what everyone else sees and pick a student that will be a positive role model who can just influence other students in a way that an adult may not be able to do, but it will still be positive.
So you mentioned the president. What are some other officers in your chapter?
We have president, we have vice president, we have treasurer as well.
How are the other officers typically elected, and what are some of their roles within the chapter?
Okay, well, we have the students vote on them. We elect president, everyone else is voted upon. So that way they feel that, and we also have a person that takes all of our photographs. He takes honor in taking our photographs and making sure that we are aware of when they go on field trips. He takes all of the documents, and he's very proud of himself with it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Giving them roles and responsibilities at such a young age, developing leadership abilities, especially in this kind of round. I know that you all have recently transitioned Maddie Ives from elementary now to a K-8. What has that process been like?
Okay, well, this is our first full year of implementation into 8th grade. So all of a sudden this year, I have 60 role models where parents are coming out of I don't know where they're coming from, but everyone wants their child to be a 5,000 role model, which I am very proud of that, because that means that my boys, my young men, I apologize, are out there and they're actually expressing themselves, and the parents that are seeing great things that are happening in the role model program.
What kind of responsibilities do you all feel? 60 boys meeting on a weekly basis. How does that make you feel in terms of the ability, the potential, the opportunity to make an impact?
The more boys that come in, it just grows and grows from there. It's funny that you start a program at a school and you allow people to take hold in it. Like Ms. Joseph says, electing officials, they just start to come up with a lot of different other things and reasons why they want to have a handle in what happens in their future. And I think that turns out like it just becomes such a bigger thing than being in a school. It becomes a life at this point,
Absolutely. What do you think draws so many parents to wanting their young men to be a part of the role models?
They love to see them dressed up. That's the most important thing. Having them dressed up on Wednesdays. The young men tell me when they go out to the store in their role model attire, people always stop and say, I was a 500 role model, and they discuss the different things. So what we're trying to incorporate this year is bringing some of the younger kids in and having our kids that's been in the program since we started mentor younger 5,000 role models. So that way when they're starting to move into the K-8 or into the higher grades, they already know the pledge, they already know the prayer. So they're familiar with the things that we are doing in 5,000 role model.
What has been, and you all are both teachers, what has been the interaction with other teachers and other faculty in the school as it pertains to the role models?
They seem to be very accepting. One of the coolest things is that the teachers will come to us and say, hey, is this a role model? This is what their grades are looking like, and I appreciate how they're behaving in class, little things like that. So on both ends of the scale, like I said, it becomes a life. So more than just being a role model, they need to be a role model in every class, outside when on the street. So it just kind of helps to connect the school, believe it or not, through the 5,000 Role Model program.
And lastly, what made you all want to pursue a career in education?
Well, I've always wanted to be an educator as a young child, but then I grew up in New York, so I went astray a little bit, and I was going to study accounting. And then education just led its way right back into my heart, because when it's in your heart, there's nothing else that you can do about it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I did not intend to be an educator initially. I studied human resource management and psychology. However, I did work with kids, and it started at the church, working with young men and young women at the church, and it just kind of blossomed from there. That love of kids, it just doesn't go away once you get bit by the bug. That's it.
That's great to hear. Shawana Joseph, age relief parent, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
After the break, we'll be joined by the Director of TRIO Student Support Services at Miami-Dade College, Mr. Carlton Daly.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best, be you, Be MDC.
We're glad to be joined by the Director of TRIO Student Support Services, Mr. Carlton Daly. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Bright. Really happy to be here and seeing you again.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your role here at Miami-Dade College.
Well, my roles is kind of twofold. One, as I said, I serve as the Director of the TRIO Student Support Services Program, and I'm also the liaison between Miami-Dade College North Campus and the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence program here at the college.
How did you initially get involved with the 5,000 Role Models? You've been a mentor for a long time.
Yeah, actually, I was approached by Miss Pam Jones years ago, and I remember being surprised because she invited me to a tie swearing ceremony at the Kendall campus, and I went over when my kids were there, and she said something about make sure you wear a tie and wear a suit, but no tie, and I was like, okay, I'll accommodate her. Went there, and then I got called up to become a mentor. It was actually one of the most important days of my life, so I've always taken that moment. I think that was about 8 years ago.
Wow.
And was happy that my kids were there to see it, and it's funny that some of the young men who were in elementary school at the time, I was able to help them in their transition from high school students to now college students here at Miami-Dade College. So it's also been very fruitful for me as a mentor personally, but also for getting some very great and smart and hardworking young men into my TRIO program from the 5,000 Role Models.
What are some of the different aspects of the TRIO Student Support Services?
All right, so the TRIO Student Support Services actually started back in 1964 as President Lyndon B. Johnson's Higher Education Act. And it's called TRIO because it started with 3 programs. Probably the most famous one is Upward Bound. And then there is Student Support Services, my program, which serves college students. The Upward Bound program serves high school students, and the Educational Talent Search program serves middle school students. So it's been almost 50 years. Our program here at the North Campus, we serve low-income first-generation students who are degree-seeking students, and our job is to make sure they have a great experience here at Miami-Dade College and transfer to upper division school. So we have students all through the breadth and depth of the nation. We have students here at the Miami-Dade College who are doing their bachelor's degree in everything from criminal justice to education. We also have students at USF, UCF. We have students as far as University of North Carolina. We have a student who's now working on her PhD at Johns Hopkins University.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I know last year, one of the things that I had an opportunity to witness was 600 elementary, middle school, and K-8 students touring the Miami-Dade College North Campus. What are some other activities that you've helped to facilitate with the 5,000 Role Models?
Well, the 5,000 Role Models is an important part of the makeup of the North Campus here and Miami-Dade College overall. So we've done everything, like you said, from campus tours. We have workshop on the students on transition from high school to college, elementary school to middle school. But one of the things we were very, very proud of is creating 2 initiatives. One is a dual enrollment summer program for juniors and seniors who are in the 5,000 Role Models, for them to start their college career early. They usually take a SLS class, a student life skills, as a preparatory class for college, and then they may take an English class or computer class. So it's very important that we get our young men ahead of the curve. So once you're in high school, they can start accumulating college credits. So that's 6 or 9 credits less they have to take when they're in college, and it's at no cost to them. One thing we like is that some of the students come for the first year and they take dual enrollment with us as a 5,000 as a group, and they come the second preceding years just under us dual enrollment. So we have students who were in the 5,000 who've left heading off to college with as much as a whole semester of college already done. So that's one less semester their scholarship has to pay for, or their parents have to pay for. One of the things we want to do more is to integrate a lot more of the young men from 5,000 with Miami-Dade College Black Male Initiative. It's an initiative that the college has college-wide, where we do community service and we actually help our young men of color to do well at the college, from matriculation to graduation. And we've gotten a nice bump of young men who are 5,000 Role Models alum into the program, a lot of them in the leadership position, who have done very well here, and they actually become great student leaders here at the college. So, because the tenets of the 5,000 Role Models also lead right into really well into the Black Male Initiative.
Absolutely. And as you speak about being ahead of the curve in the transition from high school to college, for any 5,000 Role Model students who may be listening now, what would your advice be for them in order to jumpstart their preparation process?
One is in high school, get in the habit of studying hard all the time, and see about trying to take the SAT and ACT. The other thing is think about coming to Miami-Dade College, not just because I work here, but also one is the cost. because one of the things we realize, a lot of our students end up in great debt once they leave college, and it will be because they're taking out loans, and sometimes they just can't, because as you know, college tuition is rising, housing is rising, food and room and board is rising. So if they can come to the college, they do an enrollment, it's a great thing. But if they come to Miami-Dade College here, it's a great stay for them. For example, we would say that 93% of the students who graduate from Miami-Dade College with their degree are debt-free.
Wow, wow. So study hard, prepare for the ACT, keep cost in mind. Miami-Dade College, Mr. Carlton Daly, thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
If you want to get involved with the nation's premier dropout prevention and mentorship program, the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project, give us a call at 305-995-2451, extension 2, or visit www.5000rolemodels.com. We hope that you get involved with the 5,000 Role Models. Until next time.